Hi, friends.
Hey, friends.
Welcome to Leave Me Alone. I'm working on it. I want to
Leave me
say
alone.
all
I'm working on
day,
it.
every day, but that would be a lie.
Yeah, there we go. You
'Cause-
know what? On the days where you have it, you have it. On the days where you don't, you fake it till you make it. And even then, if you can't fake it till you make it, rest. It's
I thought
fine.
you didn't believe in fake it till you make it.
Find a way, is what I'm saying. If you can dig deep and find it
Oh,
somewhere until it arrives, fine. But if you cannot, rest. Try again tomorrow. It's
let me
okay.
tell you, some days you have to dig, like it's like digging for oil. Like oh, and some days it's like no matter how hard you're digging or trying or
Mm,
pushing, it's like your life is just slow, you know?
yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
ever get those moments where it feels like you're just like things aren't happening, like you've done all of the right things, but the next
Yeah.
steps, the next moves aren't coming together, it's not
Yeah.
happening. Do
Yeah.
you ever just feel cuz sometimes I feel like I arrived late to the party. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone's already there having a great time, sipping on their martinis and their endless mimosas. And you're just now arriving after the dance number has happened, the cake has been cut. Do you ever get those moments where it's like,
I
oh
do. I do
wow.
sometimes feel like that. I feel like that when I'm like, especially when I scroll through LinkedIn or Instagram, like if I'm very honest. And I want to caution that as well because everybody else looks like they've arrived at the party, but even them, they've had to dig deep to make it
You
look
know,
like
you're
they've
not
been
wrong.
there.
You're not
Meanwhile,
wrong.
meanwhile, we're all in it. We're all like
You're
trying to make it make
not
sense.
you're not
So
wrong.
be kind
It,
to yourself, babes. You
I
are feeling
know.
like you relate to the party. Everybody's feeling the same way.
But, sometimes it's like and I know I'm not the only one who feels like this. Sometimes it's like you're just asking there's this funny thing we say in Nigeria where kids often like sometimes parents say to okay, so what usually happens is like a child will not come first in class
Yeah.
or something and then the father will be like, "Where were you when your mates were coming
No,
first?"
it's so
And
funny.
then the
No,
kid
it's
will turn
hectic.
around to the dad to be like, so then the kids are like, if they're not wealthy, like maybe that doesn't have a nice car or they don't live in a nice house, he'll be like, "Where were you when your mates were making money?"
You
It's like,
I can't even imagine saying something like that to my
oh,
parents. Like,
it's late for you after you say something like that to your
ah,
parents. It's late. But I mean, if we're gonna be
please.
spicy, let's be
I
spicy.
know. Like if we're gonna if you wanna come, let's come. Let's
If you
play,
want to
you
rock
know?
me, exactly, let's rock each other. Because sometimes you feel like you're starting something so late. Like, where was I when everyone else was starting YouTube in like 2008?
Fair,
Or
fair, fair,
where was I
fair.
when people were jumping on the Instagram influencer trend in like, oh, I don't know,
Yes.
2016? Or, like during COVID when people are like investing in the online spaces, where was
Oh,
I?
that's one
Where?
I'm very upset about that I missed.
Same.
I
Like,
missed it.
like,
I'm
like
sad. Yeah.
I'm sad too because I'm like, where was I? Like I
Yeah.
heard
What was
about it
I doing?
after.
Yeah.
It's like you sometimes you almost always feel like you just missed a good thing by like inches. You missed a good thing by like
Mm,
hours. You missed a good thing by like
mm,
days. Like you could have been on
mm,
that train, but you only
mm.
heard about it after the train had left the station.
Shoo, shoo, shoo,
It's
shoo,
like
shoo.
almost, but not quite.
Okay. But then we go back to what our good friend, my favorite, Kerry Washington, says.
I know.
If you miss your bus, it's not your bus. If you miss your train,
Mm.
it's not your train. Like there's a reason you weren't on that train.
Of course there is.
Like
I I
yeah.
I I mean that's the truth of it and that's the thing that we know, after going through the process and the journey. But it is easy to feel that way. Do you know what I mean? To
Mm,
feel
mm,
like you constantly are missing your big break. Like you're almost there, but
Fair.
not quite. Like you are
Mm.
starting, like you started this business and it felt like it was the one, it didn't work out. So you started this other business, you started this other one, like you've become a serial entrepreneur at this point.
Yeah.
Just just sort of almost making it, but not quite. And sometimes
Mm.
it can be very draining. You're just like,
Mm.
I've got it, but I've not. I'm
Mm.
doing
Yeah,
it,
I'm with you.
but I'm not. And
I'm
it's
with
it's
you.
frustrating sometimes when it and I know we're all faking it, we're all winging it, nobody's really got it all together. But there are certain aspects of certain people's lives that they've sort of won at, if that makes
Mm.
sense, or are winning
Mm.
at. Like
Mm.
it's very easy for you if you are like a young single person who wants to get married, but your friends are all married and you're not. It's easy for you to feel left behind.
Mm.
It's easy for you to
Mm.
feel like you're late to the party, or your
Mm.
friends are in their 30s and are thriving and getting promoted and are buying houses and cars and going on vacation. And
Mm.
you're still struggling to get your business off the ground. It's very easy for you
Mm.
to feel like, oh, I have not made it to this party.
Mm. Mm.
But hold on. Just hold on a minute. Let's dial it back a bit. And I know you know this, but I want to think of it as a friendly reminder, gentle nudge,
We're reinforcing.
reinforcing that it might feel like you are late to the party, but oftentimes when you arrive at that party, like you arrived dressed to the frigging nines.
Mm.
Like when you
Mm.
finally land, when you finally get your big break, you'll realize that, like Cassie was calling out, the reason it didn't work out before is because it wasn't for you. And I
Mm.
know, fully aware, I'm starting to sound like aspire to perspire, but girl,
Aspire to perspire to inspire. I love it.
girl, just hold on a little bit longer. One of
Yeah.
my one of my favorite things to remember is this is a scripture from Ecclesiastes where it basically says that there's a time and a season for everything.
Yes.
Like it will
Yes.
come. The baby
Yes.
you want will come. The success will come. The healing will come. You'll lose
Mm.
the weight. You'll save the money. You'll get out of debt.
Mm.
Like you will no longer be a customer at Dave Ramsey's. Like you will figure it out. It just
Yeah.
might take a minute to get there. And
Yeah.
it'll look like you're arriving late. And I want to do story time. So
Love a story time.
this is this is 2020, right? I
Mm.
I I gained admission to do a postgrad degree in motion picture medium in 2020. And well, I went. I mean, 2020 was a rough year. It was COVID, right? It
Yes.
was like
Yeah.
everything was
We were
on a
okay, sorry. I was
pause.
like, which story are you telling here? We were in
This
South
is
Africa.
after we were
This
in South
is
Africa, yeah.
after. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And so I was lol. She's like, wait, where were we in 2020?
I'm just like, what was happening?
So like I'd gotten the admission like 3 months late because again COVID
Mm.
and everything was just slow and I didn't get informed until like 3 months after the school year had started. But now we're all on lockdown anyway, and so
Mm.
it's gonna be a virtual thing. So and then because of lockdown, like everything was locked down in South Africa, like everything was
Sure.
locked down.
Gosh, South
So
Africa was wild.
it
It
was
was
wild.
like
Everything was locked down.
shut
I
down.
remember getting those like emails from the complex being like, you can't even take a walk around the
Ah,
complex. They're like,
I
no,
honestly, I feel like we should do an episode on how we survived COVID because
we
truly,
should.
if you think about it, that time was actually just so 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 crazy, so
It
crazy.
was insane. I think because we were all just, we didn't know what was happening and we were figuring it, like we were literally, the
Mm,
world as a
shut
whole
down.
shut down
It's
and
just
was figuring
if
it
you think
out
about it, it's
on a
so
daily
crazy,
basis. So because of the
crazy.
shutdown, I couldn't get it. a change of status visa to change to a study visa to go to school. But it's Home Affairs in South Africa, isn't it?
Correct.
Yes. Home Affairs had like sent out like circulars and memos and whatever. Like, if your visa's about to expire, you need to renew, whatever, just stay put, hold still, don't come. We're not open. Everything's locked down. It's extended for the next 6 months till we get out of this. So the school is like, look, it's a unique circumstance. Come and start the program because you can't get anything right now. And I'm like, amazing.
10
So
points.
we start, and we go through the school year, and bit by bit, the lockdown is kind of lifted. It's flexible. But so I start the process of wanting to apply, but obviously now they're backed up. It's going to take forever. So we go on the journey. I finish the school year. I submit my thesis, make my films, do all of it. I am not enrolled. And at the time, it's like, it's fine. They're going to come back to me any day now with the change of status. It's okay. It wasn't okay. They didn't come back to me in time. And because I didn't have that, the school was like, well, this is as far as we can go. You cannot graduate with your mates. Whenever you get the change of status, come back to us, and then we will re-enroll you for another year and just transfer all of your work. Now, I was upset.
Of course.
I was just like, every time, I'm almost making it, almost hitting something good, some little annoying thing like a gnat will come around and just zzz, and then it ruins everything. I was upset. I was furious. I was frustrated because I'd done everything. Like, I'd submitted my passport, I'd submitted the documents.
Like, none of this was on you.
It wasn't on me. I'd worked so hard that year to catch up, worked so hard to prove myself, worked so hard to make a film that did so well, like not just in South Africa, but on the global film festival circuit. And now you're telling me I can't graduate? So anyway, it passes. My mates graduate. I don't go because I'm like, why am I torturing myself? I stay at home.
Yeah, why?
And then I re-enroll for the next school year. And then the papers come through. I register. I've got my change of status. Everything is great. I re-enroll. They're just gonna move all of my work. So I'm a student, but not. Isn't that fantastic? I'm a student who's just done all of her work and now has nothing to do for a full year.
Yeah.
So that was the situation. Maybe about 3 weeks into the new school year starting, I got a call from one of my teachers, and she's like, hey, I just got a call from a producer at Netflix who I know and have been friends with for years, and they need someone to come and work as a producer's assistant. This is the gig. This is the role. He's a big time. Like, he's done very well for himself in the industry. He's currently, like, she sold it up. She was like, he's currently one of the judges for the Emmys in the Europe region, whatever. And I'm just like, oh, okay, fancy. But then I'm like, you're being on set, and it's like 12-hour days, 6 days a week.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, but it's Netflix, and it's
Netflix, and it's like your dream job starting point, right?
And this man seems like someone I could learn from. And she was like, of course, don't fight me. Don't think about it. Just say yes. And so I'm like, okay, yes, sure, I'll take it. And because technically I was a student, I didn't need to go back for another change of status visa. I could work on my study visa for a certain amount of time per week.
Got it.
And so I slipped seamlessly into that new role. And let me tell you, it was one of the best opportunities of my life, like one of the best learning opportunities. I got to learn so much, be a part of something amazing, work with amazing people. I finished that particular role. Another Netflix series came up. They were like, do you want to come join us on this? I'm like, absolutely. It was a fantastic year that came to be simply because I was late to the party the previous year.
Shoo.
But now I had arrived to the party dressed to the MF9s. Like, it was a year that I would not have had if I'd gotten my study visa the year before during COVID and it had elapsed. Like, I would have had to go on this journey. I would have lost the opportunity.
Yeah.
So like, it took a minute, but it came.
I remember also when the Netflix shows came out, I just remember scrolling immediately to the end
All my
to
friends
watch the
did that.
credits to be
I
like,
was just sending me. I
that's
I got a lot of screen
my
I got a lot of
friend.
screen recordings and photos taken of just, and actually you're not the only one who did that. I had like a couple other friends be like, I didn't even watch this thing yet. I just went all the way to the credits
All
and I'm
the way
like,
to the credits immediately. Boom.
scroll, where's her
Scroll.
name?
There's it. There she is. There she is. There she is. So cool. So
But it was
cool.
such a great opportunity that almost didn't happen. It was
Yeah.
such an opportunity that came seemingly late. It was such an opportunity that when I think back on it now, I'm like, oh, yeah, not graduating with my
Mm,
mates is fine. In the moment,
mm,
I was gutted.
mm.
I felt like, not this nonsense again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I realize that life throws you all sorts of things, and in the moment it often doesn't make sense, and we tend to like obsess about those things
Mm,
and beat ourselves up about it and wonder and query and ask God why me, and just get
mm,
in your feelings about it. You're not late to the
mm,
party, girl. You're just getting ready.
mm,
Look, if you
mm.
ask any Hollywood star how long it takes to get ready for something like the Met Gala or the Oscars. It's like a full day glam. Like you are
Mm.
getting ready and primping and whew, it takes a
But
lot.
let's unpack that even just a little bit more because yes, it takes the whole day to get ready for the Met Gala because or the Oscars, right?
Mm.
But it also takes the many hours of work that you spent creating the film,
To even be
the
invited
to
to
even be
it.
invited to the Oscars.
Yeah.
It's also the many times that you've been turned down, rejected for this role, for that role. You thought you would even get the audition, and then while you arrived at the audition, they slammed the door in your face. Like
Yeah.
all of that. Like we all see the moment you walk down the red carpet. We all see Aurea's name scrolling up on the credits, and we're like, that's my friend.
Mm.
What we don't see is the pain, the struggle, the energy, the effort, the
Yeah.
sleepless nights, the grafting, the grinding that took to get to a place where Aura's
True.
name is now scrolling up on the
Yeah.
credits. Like
Yeah.
and
You
and
don't see
and
any of that. Yeah.
you don't see any of that. And it goes back to the point that I was making before about it's so easy to scroll through Instagram and be like, yo, but so and so is doing so well,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
this is happening, and they're doing this. And even on like the LinkedIn side, to be like, oh, this person has achieved this person has done this. And you're sitting there, you're going, yo, like, and you jump into this comparison journey. And I
Yeah.
think that the risk here is about comparison, is about comparing my chapter 1 to your
To
chapter
someone else's.
20.
Yeah. Mm.
It's not a fair comparison. It's not a fair
Mm.
comparison at all. But
Mm.
yeah, I there's a lot of reassurance that comes from me even hearing the story that I know, but hearing it again and again, reinforcing the message because like who your break is around the corner. It's
It
around the corner,
is.
but you've got to keep going. Like you've got to
Mm-hmm.
keep putting one foot in front of the other in order
Yeah.
to get there, you know?
Mm. Mm.
My dad said something to me. My dad is full of so much wisdom. My dad said something to me. He was like, every millionaire had
Mm.
their first $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what
Course.
I mean? Like every
Yeah.
millionaire had their first $1 million. Like there was that energy, that effort, that grafting, that grinding to get to that 1 million. All we see is now, oh, surprise millionaire. But
Yeah.
like, don't discount and discredit that there was probably 50 million failures
Mm-hmm.
before that one positive
Yeah.
$1 million balance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So,
yeah.
because as you were saying that, and there's a quote that I want to read that actually I saw online, and I really, really like it resonated with me. But as you were saying that, it's like how everyone's always like, oh, so and so is an overnight success. Look,
No such
there
thing.
is no such thing
No such thing.
as an overnight success. Nobody just
No such thing.
blows overnight. Nobody just hits
Mm,
the big leagues overnight. Because
mm,
oftentimes I'll watch like an old show. For
mm,
instance, when I go back to like the early seasons of like Law and Order SVU,
Mm.
every look, actually anybody who is anybody in Hollywood started on that show.
Had a cameo.
Everybody. Everybody is on that thing. And I'm not kidding. Go back.
It's
Whether it's the
true.
OG
You're
Law and
not
Order and
wrong.
SVU, they were a woman who was assaulted. They were drunk. Viola Davis was there as a lawyer. I mean, we should have seen it coming
Hey,
with she was there, yeah, as you should have seen that
no
coming for
way.
How to Get Away.
Annalise
She was there.
Keating.
Look, it
Yeah.
was literally copy paste. Because every time I see her on Law and Order, I'm like, Annalise, why are you here? Because it's the
Wow.
same
Because it's Annalise
persona.
Keating.
But
It's
like it's
wow, wow, wow.
early
I'm
days
with you. I'm
Annalise,
with
you
you. I'm
know?
with you. I'm with you.
And sometimes you watch something else, something random, and you'll see someone who's like a big star now, who was like a
Mm,
busboy or something, and you're like, wait,
yes.
is that? Oh my
Yes.
goodness, that's how you started? Now, every time we see you, your name is in big lights. Every time we see you, it's a blockbuster. Every time we see you, it's like Marvel, something huge. But you started small. And my mother's favorite thing to say, and I know it is from scripture, but my mom's favorite thing to say when she's trying to encourage you is do not despise the days of small beginnings.
Yeah, your mom
We
says this a lot.
Yeah, she does.
She really
We
does.
all want the millions. We all want to
Yeah.
succeed. We
Yeah.
all want the 2.5 kids. Well, some of us. We all want the goodness out of life. It's coming. Consider
Mm,
this your an encouragement episode. It is
yeah.
coming. The
It's
good
coming.
things will
It's
come, but
coming.
it starts small oftentimes. It
Mm,
starts by feeling like you are late to the party. It starts by feeling like you missed out on the investment. Like it
true.
starts by feeling like you're not you're not getting it, like you're doing something wrong, but it will come. And like Cassie was saying, you got to keep doing it. Like just don't
Mm,
the only way we win is if we don't quit. And like
mm,
I know we know these things. I know you know these things. Like we've heard them, all
yeah.
the
Yeah.
aspire to perspire, all the people on their soapboxes. We have heard it. But sometimes you need a friendly reminder. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just need someone to be like, "Hey girl, you have got this." It
You
might not
got
look like it,
this.
smell like it, feel like it, but you have got this. Good things will come. And there's this quote that I just want to read real quick because I loved it when I saw it. And it's by an author, James Van Prague, who's also clairvoyant. So, I mean, I don't know. But
Okay.
I feel some type of way about psychics and clairvoyance, but okay.
Mm,
I mean, there's wisdom in what he said. So he said, all things happen in their proper time. Everything in life happens in the time allocated for it. So, literally, what
mm,
Ecclesiastes says. And he's
mm.
like, don't waste energy worrying about end results. Worrying only distracts you from living day to day and enjoying life.
And
Like, if
enjoying the
you
moment.
enjoying them, if you take away the big goals, and I know everyone is like, oh, what's your 5-year plan, what's your 10-year plan, can we put those down for a minute and just be like, I want to enjoy life, I want to
Mm,
enjoy what I do. I'm not
mm.
being an actor just because I want an Oscar. I enjoy the craft, so I'm going to enjoy the
Yeah.
moment of putting it together, of getting into character,
Yeah.
of learning my
Yeah.
lines, of
Yeah.
transforming into this new person. I love writing music or I love performing. It's not just about the Grammys, but I do enjoy that it brings joy to people. I enjoy that I can connect with my audiences or with my fans. I'm doing it
Yeah.
for the joy, for the fulfillment.
Of
Like I
doing
want to
it.
be a content creator. I'm a mom and I want to share with other moms like it's okay, you've got this. Here's a trick. Here's how you can make your life easier. I'm doing it not just because I want 500K followers on Instagram so that I can be an influencer and get paid a lot of money, but because I genuinely enjoy it. I feel like
Enjoy what I'm doing.
sometimes
Yeah.
when we take the pressure of the goals away, we actually find that we enjoy life a little bit more. And
Mm,
enjoying something for me, because I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, the best way to get the best out of people when you're working on a project is to get them to buy into it, to
mm,
get them to believe in that project. Because when they
mm.
do, the moment they do, they take some form of ownership and they give it their
Mm,
best. They're no longer doing
mm.
it just because it's a paycheck. They're not doing it just because it's expected, but they genuinely believe in this thing, this dream, this vision. That's when you get the best out of people. So the
Yeah.
moment it stops being about a paycheck, stops being about your name in lights, stops being about proving to the Facebook groups that said you wouldn't make it. The moment it stops being about that and becomes genuinely about wanting to give to the world, wanting to showcase your talent, wanting to put some joy, some love out into the world, or just wanting to create something beautiful. Sometimes that's when you do your best work. And
Yeah.
what does your best work get you? The awards, the glory, the validation that you're looking for anyway. It will come. But I
Mm.
feel like we're putting so much pressure, and I'm speaking to myself, hey. I feel like we're putting so much pressure on ourselves to just like shine, and come out right out the gate and just be amazing and just be
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
Woo, babes. It
Yeah.
will come. It'll
Yeah.
come. It might not look like it. Even when it arrives sometimes, I've realized that sometimes the life that we think we want and the life
Mm.
that we actually enjoy aren't always
Mm.
the same thing.
For sure.
It doesn't
For sure. I
always
think,
look
and
like.
I think that there's also something to be said about how there needs to be, you might be surprised at how
Mm,
when you relinquish the desire for the end goal, not only are you free to focus on the moment, but you might
mm,
find yourself pivoting and moving in different ways, thinking about things a little bit differently, approaching them in a different way. And then what you
yeah.
thought you wanted now pivots completely, and you're like, actually, this is where I need to be. Maybe this is where I need to be focused. This is where I need to
1000.
be spending my energy. And then still
Mm.
you find yourself at the finish line of a race you didn't even know was a race you needed to be running to begin with,
Exactly. Oh my
you know?
goodness. Yeah. It
So
frees you.
it completely frees you. It
It
frees you, frees your
frees
mind,
you.
frees your
Yeah.
brain space. And look, it's definitely not about, I mean, I think it's having an end goal in mind is always a good place to
Yes, of
start
course.
from, and
Mm.
to have, a goal or something that you're working towards is always good. I think that the message here is not to be so fixated on
On.
that end goal, that it actually slows you down in whatever way.
Yeah, and just puts
um
pressure on you and steals your joy and prevents you from enjoying the process. I'm not a
yeah.
person who enjoys the process, but I'm learning because the actual beauty is in the process, you
For
know?
sure. There's also something to be said, and I haven't really fully unpacked this and decided where I've landed on this thought. So
Okay.
go on the journey with me. But I was I was listening to a podcast, I think, or watching a
Uh,
podcast, watching a vodcast, if it's a video and a anyway, whatever. I was listening to
uh-huh.
people speak, okay?
I was
And
listening to people speak. Wow.
and the one girl, she was basically talking about how unpacking this idea, and it's not a new idea, but I don't know where I feel on it,
Mm.
is being afraid to start because you're afraid of your own success.
Oh, bro. Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yep.
like, it's a confusing thought for me,
Is
because why
it?
would you be, yeah, it is a little bit. It's like, why would you be afraid of your own success? Like, if you're confident enough in yourself that you're like, this is a good idea, this is a good thing, and I believe that it will be so good, and then you're afraid to do it because you might win.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
I get
it's
it.
you do. Please explain it
I
to me,
feel it
because
every time.
I explain it to me.
I feel like it differs for different people. Like the reason why people are afraid of success is going to be different. But one of the reasons for me is that you ever hear of people that they call one hit wonders, or
Mm,
when they refer to someone as being a has been?
mm,
The only reason you can be a has been is that you were. So it's like you succeeded
mm.
at something and then you failed to continue succeeding.
I'm
Like
with you,
once you
but that for
succeed at a
me,
certain level, it's like there's now pressure for you to maintain that success or to continue to
mm,
succeed. And it can become a lot. Like the pressure of succeeding once and then having to continue, it can be a lot of pressure. It can be very overwhelming. And sometimes you're
Mm,
like, I don't know if I'm ready to carry that. And so you're
mm,
afraid that if you get there, you might fail, not because you're not good enough, but because you're
mm,
not able to carry the weight of the success. So you're
okay.
just like,
I'm still not fully there. Okay, and I'll tell you why, because what you've explained to me now feels like a derivative of a fear of failure, not a fear of success. Because what you're saying is that
mm,
like you're gonna succeed and you don't want to be a one-hit wonder, which means I want to be continuously successful. I don't want to fail. I don't want things to go wrong. I don't want things to, that kind of thing. And correct, right? Like fear of
mhm,
that's a fear that I'm going to fail. You can have the fear of failure even if you succeed. And
mhm,
I can see how that fear would be amplified after
mhm,
you've succeeded the first time.
mhm.
But that's not a fear of success. That's not a fear of winning. That's a fear of
It is
failing.
though. It is though. It's that I feel like it's more that if you succeed at this thing, the failure is only an offshoot of that success. Like I'm only failing now because I cannot handle my success. Like I'm breaking under the weight of this victory, of this gain is what's happening to me. That's one side. The other side for me is often being afraid about how drastic your life may or may not change and how much control you might lose. Like you've now achieved, I don't know that I ever want to achieve like
Even
an like Oprah status. Oh, I don't think I could.
as you said it, you're like, nope, I
Oh,
can't do
I don't
it.
no, can't do it. I used to think that I could, but the
Mm,
more I think about how and when you're in that kind of
environment.
success, yeah,
Mm.
the pressure and the amount of like people keep talking your friend. I think for me it's also about a loss of control. Like how much of me will still be me? How much control will I have over the decisions of my life, over the things like can I wake up one day and decide, actually, you know what? I want to go to France for the week and do nothing. Probably not. Like you it almost feels like you're going to give something exactly that's what it is. You're going to give a lot up for that success and now you're deciding is this something I can do? So now you're just afraid like
Mm.
I'll success is amazing. Oh, now you're a superstar, but what am I going to have to give up for that thing? And so you kind of hold yourself back a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, not because you don't want to succeed, but you're almost kind of rationing it. You're
I
like,
understand.
I'll push and I'll get this far and then I'll pull back because I don't
Yeah.
really want that glory. I can't handle it. I don't know if it'll change who I am, or I'm afraid it'll affect my mental capacity, or I'm afraid of what it will do to my relationships. I'm afraid of what it will do to my character or to my persona. Like yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's something logical. So I know you said you're like, you don't get it. I don't think it's logical. And except you are
Got it.
someone who
To be
feels that
fair,
way, nobody
to
else
be
will get it.
fair, what you have said now makes a little bit more sense to me. Like weighing up the pros and cons of like what am I going to have to sacrifice in order to get my success, and I don't want to sacrifice these things, and so now I'm afraid to pursue the success because that part for me made sense. That for
Mm,
me made sense, right? Um, and I think that with with everything that you make a priority, there's going to be something that has a that needs to bear the weight, bear the cost.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I
Opportunity
mean?
cost.
So
Yeah.
opportunity cost, right? There's going to be
Yeah.
something that needs to bear the cost of a decision that you've made. So
Mm.
okay, if that's what it is, then I kind of get it. I kind of get it. But this concept of like being afraid to be successful, I was like, I
Girl,
don't
be
get that.
happy you're confident and you're not afraid of success and you're like going for the things. Some of us have to go work through it in therapy. We will
I'm
get
like,
there.
sure. Yeah, you
But
will get there.
I mean,
If
or we
anyone needs a
won't.
cheerleader, I will be your cheerleader. I believe in all of my friends and all of my people. I'm like, what do you mean?
She
They're like, I
does.
can't do it. I'm like, what do you mean? Of course you can.
She
You're
does, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, she does. I'm a great cheerleader for other people, not for
Mm,
myself. And I was
mm,
called out
mm.
on this again last night. I'm working on it. It's gonna take some time. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But if you needed the encouragement, you know how on Game of Thrones we spent 8 seasons just hearing winter is coming, winter
Oh
is
my
coming.
gosh. My gosh. Game of Thrones. Don't get me started.
Let's flip it and say summer is coming. Joy
Summer
is
is
coming.
coming. Oh, I
Love is
love that.
coming. All good
I love
things
that.
are coming. Stick with it, sister. Stick with it, brother. Whatever it is that you're doing, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Don't get disillusioned. Keep posting, keep
Mm,
investing, keep
mm,
creating, keep writing.
mm,
Your
mm,
big break is just around the corner. Don't quit just
mm,
before you hit it.
agreed.
And that's all I have to say. Look, Kat and I are very good at talking people up. We will be your hype queens, hype women,
Yeah,
whatever
we
you
will.
need.
We'll hype you up.
Come and chat with us on Instagram and on TikTok. We will hype you up. Don't
We
even
got you,
worry.
babes.
We've
We got
got you.
you.
Um, you should like this video, subscribe, do everything on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. So you can come back to it any day you need to pick me up. You're just like, play that girl who was like, I'm going to make it. Just have Siri be like, hey, Siri, play that podcast where that hun is like, summer is coming. You're going to be just fine. Thanks for joining us today. Oh my God. Siri's actually responding to me.
I know. I was going to be like, you've just activated every single Apple device that's in your vicinity.
Oh, oh my God. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to say bye. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe anywhere and everywhere you find your podcasts. You can also watch and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, love you. Bye.